Hi guys, this is Dormouse03.
And I'm Praetorian.
We're finally back for Ramblings of Mad People. We took a couple of months off.
Yep. So this will be the October-November edition. I had some technical difficulties with my laptop, so we weren't able to record for a bit.
Yeah.
But that's been sorted. A new laptop has been purchased, and recording shall commence.
Woohoo! So it feels like it's been forever ago since October happened, but
yeah,
indeed it did happen.
It did. This year has felt like super long.
Yeah.
Like 5 years rolled into one.
Yes, because you've done 5 years worth of gaming in 1 year.
I mean, that's not true. I've done like 2 years worth of gaming. I've done an average person's 8 years worth of gaming.
Probably. Yes. But we have some things. We have some things to talk about. So October was Spooky Month. And so for Spooky Month, and it was also your birthday.
It was.
Yes. It was birthday month and Spooky Month.
Yep. I am now 36 years old and still have the mental age of a 15-year-old.
That's not correct, but it's
I know.
you're a distinguished gentleman.
Apparently.
So yes, happy birthday, Mr. Rob.
Why, thank you all.
Iron Praetorian War Machine biscuit.
Chin. War Machine, according to Overcooked.
Yes.
I'll never forget that.
Yes, where it cut off the E in War Machine, so it was just War Machin.
Yeah. I declare war with my chin.
Mm-hmm. War with my chin. So yes. But in addition to it being your birthday, it was also Spooky Month. And so every year in October, I try to do some, horror thriller type games, right?
I attempt to keep as far away from those as possible, but then get dragged into it.
A little bit. And so, not necessarily like there are different kinds of, I feel like, Halloween games, right? Like you have your traditional like horror genres, so your survival horror, your psychological horror, your slasher stuff, which you definitely don't like. I do.
No.
There are certain aspects of it that I don't like. I don't like anything that's like gratuitously violent and gory and whatnot. I don't think. Not. Yeah. Some of the things that I like have moments of that, but it's not like the entire thing. I like psychological horror and like spooky atmosphere type stuff. But then you also have like thriller and mysteries that I feel like can fall into that kind of category. And then you have your more like, I don't know, you're like lighthearted ghosts and goblins and things like Costume Quest and things that
I was just
Halloween
about to say, I
themed.
think Costume Quest might be my favorite Spooky Month game.
Yeah, things that are like Halloween themed or that lean in that direction, right? So
And Candy Corn has no opinion.
correct. He does not. So I started my month off with a Games Pass spooky game called Those Who Remain. And this was, it feels so long ago, I'm trying to remember what it was about. So it was like a first-person psychological horror kind of thing where you go to this, you are in this town and people start disappearing and it's just like shadows of them, shades of them. that are sort of all around, and there's these like, it's like the ghosts of people are those who remain, right? And so they gather in the dark, and so it's one of those where like light is a mechanic, and you have to be able to like turn lights on and get things to make light for yourself, because if you're out of the light, then they will kill you.
Interesting.
And so you're basically going through and you're trying to kind of figure out what was going on. And you also interact with this being that has you, and you find out who it is through the course of the game. I don't want to spoil things, but there is a being that is basically kind of having you learn about some of the bad things that happened in this town and judge whether or not people are guilty or should, are condemned or not, I guess. Not guilty or not. They are guilty of the things that they are being accused of, but it's whether they should be condemned for what they have done or whether they should be forgiven.
Okay. Almost like you're like the judge.
Yes, almost like you are the judge. You're being called in as the judge of these people, which is interesting. It's an interesting little concept. It was a little janky in terms of the gameplay aspect of it. It wasn't the best, but it was playable. It wasn't like bad or anything. It was definitely one of those like, indie type games where,
right,
you can tell that it's just it doesn't run like Halo in first person or something like that, right? But for what it was, there wasn't really any combat or anything like that. It was mostly just exploring around, solving puzzles, trying to stay in the light and figure out the story elements. And so it worked well enough for what it was. Gosh, I can say words in a whole sentence together.
Sometimes words are difficult.
So that was Those Who Remain. I enjoyed it. I completed it on Xbox, and so that was
nice.
Another Games Pass game for the year.
So, my first plat of October was in Cat Quest, and I also played Cat Quest 2. So I kind of bundled them together. I liked the first one. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the puns quite a lot.
Yes.
Just like the RPG elements where it's like you go around, you try and get better gear, there's leveled dungeons and things and quests to do, and different monsters and stuff, and you get different abilities and things. And it's just fun. Like, I found it quite fun, just kind of running around as a little cat person. The second one, I don't know, it just didn't gel with me as well. Like, I felt like it was more of the same but worse. But I don't know why it was worse, because it was less grindy than the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know whether, because it had cats and dogs in it. And it was like a similar kind of storyline, where it's like, you're the heroes, and you're kind of the chosen ones, or maybe I'm just finally getting hit with the burnout of doing all of the things that I've done this year, and I'm just kind of hitting my wall. But if you like a cutesy RPG where you're a cat and it's got terrible humor in it, then I would recommend.
Terrible puns. No, they're great. It's funny and cute and whatever. I think probably it was playing them back to back that was the biggest
I think so.
issue
Yeah.
for you.
Like, I may have enjoyed the second one more if I'd have played it later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I wanted to play a few shorter games, and that was one of the ones that I was like, oh yeah, I'll play the second one. And then I was like, yeah, probably not best to play them back to back. just so you can like enjoy it without feeling like I've done this before.
Yeah, yeah. I went. I can't remember exactly how many. God, I can't speak tonight. Oh no.
How many months?
I don't know how many months I had in between them, but I know I did Cat Quest 1 last year and I did Cat Quest 2 this year. I think.
Yeah. Let's find out.
I mean, I did Cat Quest 2 pretty early in the year. Yeah, in February. And so Cat Quest 1 was definitely like last fall or something that I did the first one. So I think that helps. I do think that I enjoyed the first one more than the second one, though. I think the second one would probably have been more fun playing it in co-op, where one person is playing as the dog and the other one is the cat.
That might also be part of it. I felt like it was more complicated because you were having like trying to do 2 builds at the same time, and like which items do I give to which person, and then you end up like shorting the other one because you've like put your best gear on one guy but not the other one.
Yeah. I think I spec'd one of mine toward magic and the other one toward melee.
I did too.
And so,
I played as the dog and went melee and made the cat the wizard.
I think I did the opposite of that.
So you played the wizard cat and went melee with the dog?
I made
or you
the
played
cat
the melee
melee.
cat and
I made the cat melee and played mostly with the cat, and then I made the dog wizard and do support.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
But the other way around, with the dog being my main.
Yep.
Because of course, like that's how we would do.
Well, because I would play as the cat and you would play as the dog, and so if we ever play at couch co-op, you'll be, because I think it is like couch co-op.
I believe so. Yeah, it's not online though.
It's not online co-op, unfortunately, or we would have done it that way. But yeah, I would do the cat and you do the dog, and we would be happy.
So yeah, that was a couple of my plats from October.
Nice. The next thing that I did was not a plat, but it was a completion. I finished off the extra trophies in Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which was really kind of cool because it was the first game that I ever played on my PlayStation account. And so it was kind of neat to go back to that and clean up those. I think there were 3 trophies that I had left to do. I did the 2 speedrun trophies, and I thought I wasn't going to get the one to do it in under 2.5 hours or however long you had to do it, but I did get it. I thought I was off by a few minutes, but it must have either took pity on me or some of those
the counter wasn't quite accurate.
Or the counter wasn't quite accurate or something. Like it wasn't counting some of that time. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But all I know is I got it. So
therefore, yay.
Therefore, yay. And because I was just kind of doing it the first run as kind of a just test, because I assumed I would need to do 2 of them. And so I didn't do as good as I could have done on the first levels because I wasn't like doing the optimal paths or anything. I was just kind of playing back through it, and I was going to get the Donut Drake trophy, right? Where you play as Donut Drake. Because there's no time limit on that one. And so I was just going to use it as like, I'm getting back into the game. But then about halfway through... Is that
the Too Fat, Too Furious one?
Yes. Well, it's called... That's what it is in the second game. I think it's The Fat and the Furious in the first one. And then
that makes sense, yeah.
Too Fat, Too Furious in the second one, yes.
What's the third one? Too Fat, Too Tokyo Drift or something?
Something like that. It is something like that. Yeah, they did.
I think I said music then, and I meant to say movie. I feel like your, your bad English pronunciation is spreading.
Yep. So yes, so I wasn't planning on, I guess, getting both of those in the same run, but I got about halfway through the first one and was like, I have a pretty decent time. Maybe I can do this. And then I started really trying and following a guide for the second half, and I ended up doing well enough to be able to get it in one. So
Nice.
yay! And then had to play through on Brutal, which was
Painful.
hard.
It was brutal, some might say.
Yeah, like I think it's one of those difficulties that's just like it's just not fun because you have to employ stupid strategies in order to try
What,
to
like Lasso and Halo?
Yes, you have to all right, I'm going to stand behind this piece of cover because this is the one piece of cover that they can't get to me from, and then I'm going to blind fire at them, and then I'm going to, it's like
Run out of ammo,
and then I'm going to hope that I'm going to lure them over here, and then I can punch them, and then I can get more ammo, and then quickly get back into this one piece of cover, and then I need to make sure I get this gun so that I can do this thing, and it just doesn't feel like you're playing the game. It feels like you're suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering.
Lasso is such a weird way to play Halo as well, because it's almost like you want to melee everything, because it's the only way you get your shield back. And so it's like you become a master at the pummel shuffle, which is punch someone and move so they can't kill you when they hit you with melee.
Yeah.
It's just those modes are very weird.
Yes.
In how they like completely change the dynamic of how you play.
Right.
It's not like I get behind cover and shoot this person. It's like you said, find this specific spot, do these 7 specific steps. Hope that you get lucky as well, because the AI can just randomly do things that no one expects them to do.
Yeah. So.
And then win.
Yeah. So not my favorite, and it's also annoying because it's like you don't get very much ammo at all, but also things take more bullets to kill, and you die in like 2 shots of everything, or 1 if it's a powerful gun. And it's like, I don't know, just not just not my favorite kind of a thing to do, but I got through it, and now Uncharted Drake's Fortune is 100% complete. Woohoo! And that was my last little cleanup. DLC. Nope.
I will say I will say I felt the same way with No Man's Sky, where that was my first platinum and my first trophy on my PlayStation account. And then they brought out DLC, but it was really weird and janky when it first released, and so I was like, oh well, I'm only going for plats on PlayStation. I'm not worried about the 100%. And then about 5 years later, they were bringing out another update for No Man's Sky, and I was like, I'll see if they fixed the thing. I think it was find another player's base on a planet, and I was like, I couldn't find one, so I gave up because they said it was really difficult. And then I found a world where someone had made a base, got it, and then I was like, I'll do the permadeath one as well. And I had the backup save ready. I kept saving my game.
Yeah.
I did it in my first run.
Nice.
I was like, oh, you with the doing the speed run. It was oh, I might actually be able to do this without needing to use my save. It's kind of nice when that works out.
It is. It's a nice little. It's nice when you go in expecting something to take longer or be harder than it is,
Agreed.
Because then you don't get frustrated with it. You don't get frustrated at all because you expected it to be longer and harder, and it wasn't, and that's great. So, yeah. And I guess maybe I'll do my next one as well. Since you have a few fewer things to discuss in October. The next proper full game that I did, although I guess I did play through Uncharted Drake's Fortune technically 2 times in doing both of those trophies. So
Oh, I see.
like played through the campaign twice fully to do both of those. But the next one that I, did from start to finish, unlocked all the achievements, was Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. And so this was an Xbox exclusive, I believe, that released earlier this year. And was good. I think I told you when I was playing it. It feels like something, it's weird to say I enjoyed it, because it doesn't feel like a game that you enjoy, if that makes sense. It's a game that...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because it's just, the mood of it is very oppressive, and, it simulates that feeling of someone who has schizophrenia or has psychosis and hears voices and everything, and it's just very dark, and you don't know exactly what all is real or not. But I will say that this one did feel like it came to a hopeful place, I think, at the end.
Well, that's good.
Kind of, which was neat. And it does feel like they have space to go on from here, so I'm interested to see what they will do if they do continue the series. And just the performances, I think, by the actors are really quite good.
I think her performance got Game of the Year.
Yeah, she did. I saw that. And well deserved. Very well deserved. Like, her acting in it was super good, because not just her voice acting, but like it was her, like it's full
the mocap
for her. And so, and it's not even mocap and then putting it on an animated model. Like, it is her. Like, it looks like her. They modeled her in the game, which is neat. And so it does feel a lot more like, an acting performance than like a gaming performance or a voice acting performance. So, very good. Definitely, one that you may not want to play late at night just because of all the whispering in your ears and and stuff. But there were more I feel like there were more maybe puzzle elements, although there were puzzle elements to the first one.
There was just quite simple.
Yeah, there were some different ones, and these were pretty simple as well, but they had to.
It was mostly like finding runes to unlock doors and things, so looking at objects, and a few little maze type bits. I would know. Spoilers, I played that one that month.
That's on your
first
list. So yeah, it had the same with runes and finding them and finding the perspective from which they all match up. But it also had some other ones where it was dealing with sort of changing perspective of the world, which was interesting. And yeah, it was cool. I liked how they incorporated the sort of mythology stuff along with her own sort of... Because it feels like she accepts her voices now. Whereas in the first one, I think it was her kind of struggling against that. They felt very much more okay, this is just me. And these voices are part of me. And they're here. And we're going to have a conversation. And that's cool. It's happening. And I kind of liked that sort of progression for her character. I think it was interesting. So I won't say any more about it. I'm being vague about the story stuff because it's a very story-driven game. There is some combat, but it's not anything major. It's very easy, and I think easier than the first game.
Good.
So
The next game I'm going to briefly talk about is Dead Rising 2, because we talked about that one the last time. But I got my Zombie Kills trophies done and had the platinum as my 7,000th trophy.
Woohoo!
So that's another milestone that I hit this year. And then I'm going to talk about Dishonored 2 and Death of the Outsider. So I started both of these games for the Alphabet Challenge back in September. And so I decided to clean them up in October. I love the Dishonored games. I like the setting, I like the story, I like the characters. You can play your own way. You get a choice in the second one as to whether you play as Emily or Corvo, and you have to play through as both. And they have slightly different powers, so it makes it a little bit more interesting to replay rather than you need to do a high chaos and a low chaos with the same character. I mean, you can if you want to. But I decided this time not to do a no powers, no detections, no kills in one run. I did the powers one in another run and did the no kills, no detections with powers to make it easier on myself, because there's definitely certain sections where having powers makes it so much easier.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like Jindosh's mansion, because you can get up in the roof right at the start without having to try and go in the room, jump on a bookcase, and then try and get through a hole in the roof while you've got clockwork soldiers running around trying to find you.
Right, yeah.
So that's the not being detected. I will also say an improvement on the first game is that it tells you in the menu whether you've been detected or not.
Yeah.
Rather than you get to the end of the level and you've got a detection or a kill by accident, and then you've got to replay the whole thing.
Yep.
Or try and load a save and figure out where the person died.
Right, yeah. Which one is the one where I messed up?
So that happened to me in the first one, where I knocked out 2 guards by a door that you blow up, but I obviously killed them too close to the door explosion and it killed them, and I had no idea. And I finished the level and it was like, you have 2 kills. And I was like, where? And then I was like, really? They counted? Okay. Had to replay, move their bodies away from the door so that they don't die.
Yes, because sometimes they can get caught in environmental stuff.
Yeah, because you have to put explosives on the door to get out of prison. I think my favourite missions in the second one is Jindosh's mansion, and there's one in another mansion later on that you and I like, where it's you get a device and you can move through time, kind of. It's interesting. I'm not going to go into too much detail. And then Death of the Outsider, I think, was a good conclusion to the trilogy. It kind of felt like it maybe was meant to be DLC for 2, but then they decided to make it a standalone. I'm kind of happy they did, because it feels like its own thing to me. Yeah. And so it pulls some threads together as it ties up a few characters' stories from the first game and the second game, and makes a potentially, it makes a big change, basically.
Yeah.
It's in the title of the game, Death of the Outsider. It just depends what it means by death.
Yes. And there's a couple of different endings.
Yeah.
So.
2.
Yeah. No, the Dishonored series is great. I don't know if they'll ever make another one, but...
I don't know either, because they did Deathloop and they've done Prey. I wouldn't mind a second Prey.
Yeah. I think, but Arcane, they did Redfall. Did they disband? I think they disbanded part of their studio, because they had a couple... I think they
disbanded part.
Yeah, they had a couple.
I don't know whether they disbanded them all.
Yeah, I don't...
Or whether they've downsized them and taken projects away from them at the moment. So maybe...
Yeah.
Maybe we will get another Prey or Deathloop or Dishonored, but it probably won't be Arcane that makes it.
Yeah.
Or it'll be an Arcane that's made up of different people.
Right, or it's one that's they took... Because I think they had a couple of different Arcane studios, maybe. Like Arcane Austin and Arcane something else, and something like that. And so they might have closed down one of them, but still have the other. I'm not 100% sure, but that sucks if we don't ever get something else like that, because I know that those games, I mean, I think the Dishonored series sold much better than like Prey.
Yes.
But unfortunately, because Prey is great.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they are the kind of like mega bucks juggernauts that they seem to want to make these days, you know?
Well, that's all that they seem to care about, is like, how much money can we make, and not what kind of different games can we make.
Mm-hmm.
We're heading for stagnation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like this year, or maybe last year, was stagnant, where it's like, it's just been like a bunch of remasters and remakes. Especially with PlayStation doing like Horizon Zero Dawn and The Last of Us.
Part 2.
The things that are Part 2 remastered, when it's like, it's one generation back.
Yeah.
And it's been less than 5 years since the game released.
Right.
I mean, for Zero Dawn it might not be, but it's just like, but you can play those games on that console.
Right.
They could just have a graphical upgrade.
You don't need a remaster.
Well, you also don't need to like up the price on Zero Dawn for new players.
Right.
To make sure that you're getting like £50.
Right, for the people who want to get it on PS5.
PlayStation 5. Yeah. Because it's a £10 upgrade. Obviously I have the disc because I bought it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, people that want to play it now, oh yeah, it was £20 and now we've upped it to £40.
Yeah.
It's Concord tax, probably. I say that tongue in cheek, but probably
no,
is.
That's probably right. I mean, like you said, it is so money driven and profit driven. And, you know, to a degree I understand that, because things do cost more to produce now. Studios are much bigger. You know, they employ more people, and so it costs more to make games. But I don't know. It's like you just can't expect everything is going to be something that's going to make you hundreds of millions of dollars. Right?
It kind of feels like the way I've been gaming this year, where it's like it's just been numbers, and the enjoyment disappears, because all you care about is how many trophies does this game have, how long is the plat, is there a guide, is there DLC, and it's just kind of like churning through numbers rather than, do I enjoy this game? Was it fun? Did I give it enough time? Did I do all the side stuff that I should have done? And it kind of feels like that with the gaming, where it's like, it's all money, numbers, and then it just loses the like storytelling part, or the gameplay, or like if a game had a soul. It feels like modern gaming is losing its soul because it's become so business orientated.
Yeah.
And it's gotta be big bucks, not slow burns.
Right. Yes, we need to make our money back right now, not over time. And
maybe that's just the nature of gaming now, with like the Fortnites and etc., where they make massive money on one thing and just keep churning it out.
Yeah, they do, but it's like there can only be so many of those massive money makers at any one given time, right?
Or you run a franchise into the ground trying to make remasters and sequels and things, and people are like, can we have a new IP? No, you can't.
Right.
Or you make a new IP, you put a trailer up, and then everyone dislikes it for no apparent reason that you have to turn the comments off.
Yeah.
Which literally happened with the one that Naughty Dog, like that Galactic something.
Really?
So Naughty Dog announced the new game, they put a trailer up for it. I haven't seen it, it was on the Game Awards, but they've turned off comments and stuff on the video because they got a load of angry people on there. And it's like, I thought people wanted a new IP?
Right.
What's wrong with the trailer? Like, Who knows?
I
Everyone just wants to be angry, I
I
guess.
probably have a guess, but I don't know that I even want to broach that subject, especially since I don't know that for sure. So, because
We'll leave that until we've watched the trailer.
we'll leave that until we've watched the trailers. I have a suspicion, but because I feel like it's the same thing that people get upset about with everything these days. But
Oh no, it's not woke, is it?
It's the woke hypervigilance that seems to just be like permeating the entirety of the gaming
Known
community.
universe.
I mean, yeah, that too. But I guess since most of the media that I consume is video games, like
Yeah.
I guess I notice it there more. But anyway, I don't know that it's that, but I suspect that it probably is that.
Sadly.
Because that's the kind of thing that promotes hateful comments. Not just like, hey, I really wish that you were working on another Uncharted game, or I wish that you were working on another Last of Us game instead of this thing, or I'm not sure how this looks. That's the woke stuff, or is stuff that I think promotes people to just be nasty. And that would be
Yeah.
why someone would turn their comments off, because people
Yeah,
are
it's
just
like
being
this.
hateful.
This
and
is
nasty.
trash. I hope bad things happen to you. You
Yeah.
should never have made this.
Mhm.
You're scum. All of the
Yeah.
different versions of that are worse that I wouldn't say.
Absolutely. Like, and just personally attacking people
Yeah,
because they
too.
assume that, because they have a certain, I don't know, gender, orientation, skin color, whatever it is that people think is woke and is the reason why they're ruining their games. They're ruining my games because they
I also
are
heard
different
that
than me.
the Witcher 4 trailer with Ciri in it is
Oh, yeah.
Ciri's ugly.
Yeah, she's ugly now, y'all. Newsflash. Like, I don't know.
How is everyone ugly?
I don't
like-
know. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people. And like their eyeballs, right? Like I don't know. I don't
Is everybody looking for some like Botox paralyzed soccer mum
Yes,
40-year-old from the 90s?
everyone must look like the original Tomb Raider.
What, fuzzy and on a PS1?
No, like the body shape of someone that is disproportionate and doesn't exist in the natural
Barbie.
world. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Newsflash, physically speaking, Barbie is so top heavy and her feet are so small she would just fall over if she was a real person.
right, like she does when you try to stand her up
Exactly.
when you have one. Because I had Barbies when I was a child. Because I'm a girl. And
I remember my cousin had a few and
I
they never
had
stood
them
up.
I had them fight each other, and I drew blood on them with markers.
What, were you playing Small Soldiers or something?
I don't know. I was a non-girly girl. But
You're calling my best friend.
but yeah,
anyway.
like you can't stand them up. They don't stand up. It's
No.
like they don't stand because their feet are weird and they're shaped funny, and even if you put shoes on them, like they won't stand up because their feet are so tiny. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what people want. That's ridiculous nonsense. Ciri looks great. Also, that's a cinematic trailer, and the game is not going to look like that.
No, they never do.
You
Never.
know? So whatever people are saying about any of it now, whether it's like, oh my god, the graphics are amazing, or blah 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 blah, it's like that's a pre-rendered like cinematic trailer. The game is not going to look that way.
I will voice my opinion when I see gameplay as to
Mm-hmm.
whether I think it's decent or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's The Witcher. I thought that they were going to go with having Ciri as the protagonist. That seems to be where the...
I mean, it made the most sense from The Witcher 3.
Yeah, it literally set it up for that. you know, for her to be.
They have confirmed that Geralt will be in it,
Yeah,
like, but not a playable character.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
he'll be in it in some capacity,
That makes
which is
sense.
cool.
Yeah, that is cool for him to like be a mentor and for her to go see him maybe, and maybe they even do a contract together for old time's sake or something like.
Or they could start the game like they did with 3, where you're with Vesemir doing a thing, and maybe it's you're with Geralt
Exactly,
doing a thing, and then you go off and
that would be super cool.
have your own adventure. Yeah. We've kind of got off topic,
we
but I
have.
thought it was interesting to talk about.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I don't know what is wrong with people. They are very frustrating. But we were talking about Dishonored and how we hope that maybe one day we might get another one and that it would still be, you know, a single player immersive simulation type game like they have been, and not trying to turn it into a live service game that nobody wants.
Exactly. So what was your next game?
Oh, goodness. It was The Order 1886.
Nice.
So this was...
I think I played that one this year.
I think you did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It was interesting. Definitely, you know, a sort of story-driven third-person shooter
with about... It felt like 30% story, 30% collectibles, and 30% shooting.
It was strange. It felt like it was oddly mixed between those things. And I can understand why people were frustrated with it when it came out, because it was like,
what is this?
What is this? And also it was very short, and it was back in the time when I think things were really like, well, I mean, and I think that we are still in this era of stuff needs to be long enough to justify the price tag.
Yes.
Right?
Especially for us.
It's not necessarily about quality. It's about, you know, you need to have the length of it is more important than the quality of it in a lot of cases. And or just it having replayability or something like that, right? And so when this came out, it's a like 4 to 6 hour game or something like that. It's not very long. And
yeah, I think it's more like 8 to 10 probably.
Yeah.
With all the collectibles and like grinding out some of the kills.
Sure. I mean,
Or do you mean like story?
Sure. Yeah, like just to play through the game, right? It's not that long. And I think I only took like 6 hours to complete it. But I was following a guide the whole way through.
So was I.
So it was not that long. And so it being a full price game and being like, this is one of the flagship, you know, games for the PlayStation 4, right? It was kind of like, okay, this was a letdown. It also did feel like there was a lot more that they could have done with it.
Yep.
You know, like they could have fleshed it out more and whatever, but I think maybe they were so focused at that time on the graphics, because the graphics for it being an early PS4 game were really good. And so I feel like maybe that's where a lot of the budget went, was to making the graphics really great, to kind of show off the technological capability of the PS4. And so they didn't have enough budget to, you know, do more than what they did.
Right.
Is what it maybe feels like. But playing it now, when I bought it for $10, I think I got it for less than $10 actually. Playing it now, when I got it for under $10, it was a good playthrough, you know? It had an interesting story and characters. The shooting was good for what it was. And Yeah, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It was about
Yeah,
werewolves.
It took me about 8 hours,
Nice.
but I had to replay a chapter because the guide I used messed me up.
Gotcha.
And so I'm in that room where if you look at the notes in the wrong order, it will lock you out of getting one of them.
Yep, that's because you weren't following the Square One Games guide.
Well, I didn't realise there was a Square One Games guide, otherwise I would have used it because they are top quality.
Indeed, I didn't get messed up.
And well endorsed by this channel.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get messed up, and I got through it faster. So, not that the difference between 6 and 8 hours is not a huge one.
No, it's 25%.
It is, but it's not the same as this took me 60 hours versus 80 hours, right?
Fair.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was about werewolves and a werewolf cult during the Victorian era.
It's vampires.
Vampires. Are there vampires and werewolves?
Yes.
Yes.
But the main bad people are vampires.
Right. I mean, but they introduce the werewolves first, I thought.
Yes. But the big bad is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I see. So yeah.
It's an old game. Spoilers. It's like the vampires are using the werewolves.
Right. Yeah.
They're kind of allied with each other, kind of.
And so,
but the orchestrator of all the shenaniganery that goes on is a vampire, not a werewolf.
Right. And it's during Victorian era England.
Yeah, 1886.
And 1886, yes, and during the Jack the Ripper time period.
Yes.
So. Yeah,
because Queen Victoria didn't die until 1901. Nice. So solidly Victorian.
Solidly Victorian. And solidly supernatural, so it counted for Spooky Month. What was your next one?
It did. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Here you go.
I really voted this well when I played it on Xbox. Not this time. I don't know. I don't know what I saw in the game the first time. It's just kind of weird and creepy for me.
Yeah.
There's definite sections where I was like, why did I like this? Why am I playing this? This is weird. The Senua storyline is interesting. There's just certain bits in it that I was like, oh yeah, this is weird. Oh yeah, this bit's weird too. Mm-hmm. Oh, and this bit too. I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, there's a dark bit with some weird creatures in it. That freaked me out a little bit. Then there's the bit where there's bodies everywhere and arms and grabby hands. And I'm just like, well, Spooky Month. It went on sale for the first time in forever.
Right.
I took it off my wish list, and 3 days later it went on sale.
It's hilarious.
I was like, that's just funny. And so I played it, and I was like, it's short, I can use a guide for the collectibles. But it just, it did not gel with me well at all. Yeah. It's interesting. I like the premise of the game. I just don't like the weird horror-y bits. Which I guess is the whole medium through which they tell the story.
Right, yeah.
There's some bits that are fine. But it's dealing with loss and dealing with your own psychological trauma and problems, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But if you like this kind of games, great. For me, I'm not saying, when I say I don't like a game, unless it's abysmally awful, Stroke the Tortoise or whatever, I'm not going to be like, this was trash.
I love
you shouldn't
that's
play
our
this.
go-to.
It's not a game
of games,
really.
Right? It's Stroke the Tortoise,
or something that's so broken you can't play it.
Right?
You spent $60, £70, and the game doesn't work, or the trophies are broken.
It's Concord. They took it away, and you can't
it's
play
just
it.
What I mean
Yeah.
is, like, it's a game that just wasn't for me. I
Right.
won't be playing the second one. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As in, enjoyed it in such a way that you can enjoy that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, it was interesting.
Yep.
To go back and play it and realize how much I didn't like it and wonder why I rated it 5 out of 5 for the first time.
Yeah. That is
Wow.
interesting to me how you had such a different experience the second time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a different mindset right
Yeah.
now, so maybe it's like slightly annoyed. I think that's like my entire year is me being slightly
just
annoyed.
Slightly annoyed.
Just took
So
slightly
you just
longer.
have less patience for everything. You know, less tolerance for things that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I never want to do this again. I've said that several times, but next month's wrap up is definitely going to be an interesting look into my psychological damage from how I've played games this year, which gels well with
man.
Senua's Sacrifice.
Yep. So the next one that I played was Ghostbusters, the video game, remastered. And so
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Ghostbusters. So it was good. I never played it back when it came out on the 360 PS3.
Yeah.
And so this was a new experience for me. And it was good. It was funny. It had the original cast in it, and a couple of the guys wrote it. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. So, two of the main actors wrote the story of the game, or helped write the story of the game. And so you had the whole like main cast come back and reprise their roles, and people say it feels like Ghostbusters 3, and it really does, because it calls back to a lot of the stuff that happened in the original 2 Ghostbusters movies.
Because they never made a third movie,
They didn't make a third movie, and so this feels like a Ghostbusters 3. It had the humor, it had, the cast and the camaraderie, it had the spooky ghosts, and you're playing as a new recruit to the team. And so,
oh, nice.
Yeah, so you play as this
Come
guy,
on, rookie.
the rookie. Yeah, you play as the rookie, and so they're teaching you how to capture ghosts and how to find them and use the different technology to like analyze the slime and analyze the,
ectoplasm.
the ectoplasm and stuff that they leave behind, to be able to identify what kinds of ghosts they are, and be able to make them come out of somebody that they're possessing if they're a possession type ghost, and just different things. And it was good. I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, which is nice.
That's always nice.
Yeah, it was one of those that I was like, oh, this will probably be pretty fun, and it was actually pretty good. So
it was actually pretty fun.
It was actually pretty fun. And it just felt like you were doing a movie, doing a Ghostbusters movie, and that's exactly what it needed to be. So,
was this on PS5?
PS4.
PS4?
Yep.
Would you recommend?
Yeah, like if you like the Ghostbusters movies, absolutely. And it's not scary or anything. Like, no scarier than the Ghostbusters movies are, because they're comedies, right? So, yeah, that is one that I do think that you would like, and it's not billed as a horror game.
Is Slimer in it?
Slimer is in it for a little bit. He's not like
the little slimy guy.
Yeah, the little slime master general.
I feel like your cat Brutus maybe learned how to be a mischievous little fellow from Slimer.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Possibly.
They have the same energy.
They do have the same energy. Yep, he's a little turd. Uh,
But we love him.
but we love him, and we love Slimer too. And it's got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in it.
Nice. That's from 2 or 1?
The first one, I think. It's been a long time since I've seen those movies, actually.
I watched the first one recently, but I feel like only half of it is kind of in my head.
Yeah. Anyway, it has the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in it, and you get to blow him up all over the city and
Woo.
turn to
Marshmallows for
marshmallow
everyone.
fluff for everybody. And yeah, the story was pretty decent in terms of plot, right? There's somebody who's like raising spirits, and they have made these like sigils, these sort of portal sigil things all over the city, and you have to find them and close them and prevent them from releasing the big bad evil thing. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Hey.
And then the next thing that I did was we go from one that you might like, Ghostbusters. You will definitely not like. You would definitely not like Still Wakes the Deep. It was
Nope.
It was creepy. I liked it, but it was definitely not a game for you. It was one where you're on an oil rig, and they like they're digging obviously in the ocean.
Yeah.
And they dig, and something gets released, and it's this like Cthulhu type
of course it is.
being that starts to mess with people's minds and turn them into these mutated, horrific monstrosities.
Because even dead gods can dream.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was definitely not something that you will not like it if you don't like horror and you don't like.
Well, here's the thing: it contains two things that I really love, which is suspense horror and the sea.
Oh yeah, you don't like the ocean?
No.
Yeah.
Not. That's why I won't play Dredge. I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want all the weird animal life from the ocean trying to eat my soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or like Dave the Diver or whatever. I'm like, no. Anything like water orientated, I'm just nah.
Where you have
unless
to be
it's like
underwater.
really good.
Yeah.
Well, like BioShock, right? There's underwater sections, but it's fine because you're mostly in a city that's a little bit damp.
Right.
But when it's like, oil rig horror, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm good.
You might fall into the ocean. There is sections where you're swimming. And
because I remember Far Cry 6 DLC, there's the swimming section. That freaked me out. Because it's like a massive expanse of water. And I'm like, I don't like this.
Sharks,
we're just going to go straight.
Sharks!
We're going for the light. We're going for the light.
Yeah.
Where's the shark?
Yeah, with this one, there's definitely there's a lot of sort of traversal and puzzle elements to it. And there's no combat, really. You do kill a few things, but it's using the environment to kill things. And it's mostly just trying to get around areas, and you can use, you can throw items to, distract the enemy monster or creatures to, get them to run over there while you go over there and hide. And it's one of those games that's definitely more about suspense and tension and the atmosphere, and yeah, it was good for that kind of game. So if you like that kind of game, you will probably like Still Wakes the Deep. If you don't, you won't.
Fair. I've come up with a new scale. It's called the Scale of Scorn. And it's like, is the scorn levels of bad?
It's not quite, although I will say it's close. It's closer to the.
So it's
close.
So it's a 4 to 4.5 out of 5 on the level of Scorn.
On the level of Scorn. If Scorn
you
is
know,
a
like
5,
they have the scope. Scorn's the 5.
If-
Scorn's like 6. It's off the scale.
Yeah. If Scorn is a 5 out of 5 for weird, nasty.
Yeah.
Horror.
Chickens.
For weird, nasty body horror, horror chickens, I would say that Still Wakes the Deep is like a 4.
Okay. I want to continue to use the Scorn scale going forward, just because it's really silly. You know, like the Scoville scale for like hot chilies. There's now the Scorn scale
the Scorn
for
scale for weird horror
how
games.
horrific. How horrific would I find this?
Oh, mercy! And like Ghostbusters is like a 1.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like the least
and,
scary game.
Like Costume Quest is a 0. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that candy corn, you gotta watch out.
Yep.
You never know what he's doing.
Mercy.
Okay. I think we need context for candy corn for people that haven't played Costume Quest. There's an achievement. You have combat with 3 people. It's turn-based, and you have costumes that you wear that give you abilities.
Yep.
One of the costumes is candy corn. It's a piece of candy corn.
Right.
But candy corn does nothing, so it's effectively you're playing with 2 people, and you have to have candy corn in your party for an achievement/trophy.
Yeah.
And whenever it comes up to candy corn's turn, there's just a little quote that's like, "Candy corn knew the answers already," or "Candy corn stands by," or something along those lines.
Right,
You know, like,
yeah.
candy corn is disinterested.
Candy corn is done with this.
That's it, yeah.
You know, stuff like that, yeah. And so you effectively skip a turn for that character because their suit can't do anything, right? Whereas some of the other ones are like, you know, superhero or, you know, robot mech, you know, and they do different attacks and things. And Candy Corn just sits there and says funny little sarcastic things.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Sits there and says sarcastic things.
Mm-hmm. It's your superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Still Wakes the Deep, and then the last one that we didn't do together was one that I played because it was going off of Games Pass at the end of the month, and I wanted to play it because it was short and simple, and it was called Frog Detective, and it's a little game where you play as a frog detective and solve 3 different mysteries.
Are they frog-related crimes?
They are animal-related crimes. All of the different people are different kinds of animals. And in the first one, it's like this... Oh, I can't remember what kind of animal he is. But it was some kind of animal. Hires you. It's Mr. Badger or something like that. Hires you to...
Mr. Badger or something.
It's not a badger. I can't remember what it is. But he hires you to find the ghost that's on his island, because he lives on an island and he's going to have a dance competition soon. And the ghost is ruining his ability to practice for the dance competition because it's scaring him. And they hired these scientists
sounds like a problem.
to go and find the ghost, but the scientists are useless and they can't figure it out. So they need Frog Detective, who is the second best detective at the detective agency behind Lobster Cop.
Lobster Cop?
So Lobster Cop is the best.
Wait,
but
is Frog Detective actually the rookie from the Ghostbusters game, and that's why they got them to like go to the island? It's a crossover.
Yes.
It's not. It's not a crossover. No,
So-
I want that. I want Frog Detective Ghostbusters.
So it actually was pretty funny. Like some of the text dialogue and stuff was it amused me. It definitely seems
Wait, that
like
wasn't the one
something
with the
that's-
wizard, was it?
Yes, where it's the invisible wizard. The second case was the case of the invisible wizard, where this wizard moved into a little town, and they were going to throw a party for the wizard to welcome them, but then somebody trashed the party and ruined all the decorations before the day before the party, and you're hired to like figure out who vandalized the town or whatever.
It was Lobster Cop, and he's actually the main villain.
That's hilarious.
It was Lobster Cop the whole time.
That is funny. And I feel like you're spoiling it for people, Rob.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just that good at guessing the plot to games.
No, it's definitely like a game that it feels like it was made for younger kids, like
Yeah.
a younger audience. But it did have some, I thought, funny little bits to it. You know, and it was short and easy and a very nice palate cleanser after Still Wakes the Deep, which was horrifying and tense and will give
We
you
don't want
nightmares.
a Frog Detective Still Wakes the Deep crossover where you've got to,
God.
defend the town against Cthulhu facehuggers.
But if they were drawn in the style of Frog Detective, they would be cute. So
What? Yeah, but what happens if they're like extracting people's brains and stuff in the style of Frog Detective?
I don't know. That sounds like I don't want to think about it. Moving on. So that was Frog Detective.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin that game for
I
you.
played that, and it was a game. And the last one.
Are you
is-
sure? It wasn't Pet the Tortoise,
It
right?
wasn't. It was definitely
Pet the Lobster
a
Cop.
point and click adventure. And
Nice. I can't say anything. I've played plenty of them this year.
yeah. And the last one was the one that we got the plat for on Halloween Day, which was
Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil. I forced you to play this game.
Yep. We started it on the 1st and we finished it on the last
Yep,
day of October.
we did.
Okay, I'm gonna look at my notes.
Mhm.
So I will say this.
Hated it.
I enjoyed
No other notes.
Trash. Resident Evil sucks. Would rather have my nails pulled out than talk to Wesker again. No, I'm joking. The game wasn't bad. Like,
Yeah.
the controls hadn't aged well.
No.
The story was all right.
Yeah.
As far
the
as it
story
went.
was very. Yeah, it was a story.
It was a story.
It was a
The saving
story.
grace of it was a co-op game
Yes.
that saved both our progress.
Yes.
And so that was actually a nice change because we could just play through together and we didn't have to like do each level twice.
Mhm.
I mean, we played through it first on easy. We tried to get like the collectibles as best we could. We did all of the like medallions and stuff
Yep.
in our first run.
Yep.
And then we went through and did the S ranks.
Mhm.
Then we did veteran and then we did professional.
Yep.
I really liked being able to like unlock weapons and get infinite ammo because that made veteran and professional a lot easier. Although that
Yes.
Wesker Jill fight was still a pain in the ass
It sure was.
because it was like, oh, there's Wesker. Hide from Wesker. Why am I dead? Damn it, Jill.
Damn it, Jill.
She just appeared from nowhere.
Yes.
It's like she's down in the main room. Wesker's approaching. Jill has now shoved an Uzi in your armpit and killed you. Where did you come from? I'm a wizard. They were the wizard. It was Jill Valentine. She was the wizard the whole time. It makes sense. She trashed the party because she was indoctrinated by Wesker.
Yep.
Solved it.
Solved
So
it.
it's a Resident Evil, Ghostbusters, Frog Detective crossover, Still Wakes the Deep mashup.
Oh my lord.
Coming Halloween 2025.
To a fever dream near you.
Yeah. If you want to have nightmares like these, play all 4 of these games on Halloween. But no, like, I enjoyed it. There was a few frustrating bits and pieces, but
yeah,
I will say that your recommendation did pay off. Like, I did enjoy playing it. It's action horror.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't suspense horror, which I don't enjoy. And so we had fun.
We did. For the main campaign.
So we got the plat on Halloween, and then did we do the DLC after we did the plat, or did we do some of it before and then finish?
No, I think
we did do it after.
I think we did it all after.
So we're kind of straying into November territory because we got the 100% eventually on the 30th. Was it? Yeah, the 30th of November.
Wow.
So it's like a month in between because we were doing other things.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't like the DLCs. Oh, and the multiplayer was just meh. It was like, oh yay, multiplayer trophies.
Yeah. Luckily, they didn't take too long, and we could do them all by ourselves. But
because we dual boxed.
it.
But your damn PS5 turning itself off. Just damn you, PS5.
I know.
But no, like the DLCs, like the what was it called, Lost in Nightmares one, where it's like it's kind of reminiscent of the first game.
That one you really
did
not like.
No, it gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm a 36-year-old man, and it gave me zombie nightmares.
Yeah.
Because it's just that I just don't deal with jump scares particularly well.
Yeah.
And that one was fine for like doing the S rank and speed run.
Because there weren't very many enemies. Because
not speed run, but it's like the S rank is almost a speed run because you have to do it in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
But that one was fine.
On the other hand,
the Desperate Escape one, on the other hand, it was just like the RNG was terrible.
Yep.
The connection was terrible. We had some really weird glitches. Jill lost her top half as if she'd been eaten by a crab person. Wait a minute, was that actually Lobster Cop?
Lobster Cop cut her in half. Yeah, I don't know what happened. There was some glitch that occurred where one of us walked through a door and then...
No, I climbed a ladder.
Yeah.
And it teleported me to the end of the section.
And then it teleported you to the end. And it cut off the top half of Jill's body, so she was just... It was butt and legs.
Yeah.
And that's all she was.
And then I was like, okay, you go up this ladder, because you're going to need to open the door. Not that I'm sure how you're going to open the door with just a pair of legs and a bum.
Although I could still shoot things somehow.
Well, with your magic invisible gun. Wait a minute, Jill was half wizard.
Yes,
she was wizard.
Half invisible. But then I walked up the ladder and it teleported me halfway back through the map. So
it teleported you back to where we should have been the first time.
Right.
And so I was trapped inside that area because I couldn't get out.
Yep. And reloading the checkpoints didn't fix it. And like every time we'd walk up, I think it did fix the like graphical error, so I had my full character model back, but it didn't fix
but the glitches were wild.
The craziness of like just teleporting us all around every time we'd go up a ladder or anything like that, or go through a door or whatever, it would teleport you somewhere else.
Give up.
So we had to give up that run.
And when we did it on Veteran, we got all the way to the end. It disconnected you. I didn't realize it didn't save progress, and so quit the game, and we had to do the whole Veteran bit again.
Yep, because I was like, just if you finish up Veteran, then it'll unlock Professional for you, and we can play it on Professional.
You were 37 seconds too late.
I was 37 seconds too late in getting all of that out, and so we had to do it all over again. That end sequence,
especially without we didn't get the shotgun.
Yep.
Which I was using. So I was using a pistol and Magnum, and the Magnum didn't have much ammo.
Yep.
And you were using the machine gun, and they just dropped score stars,
Four
sorry,
stars, yeah.
like 90% of the time.
Yep.
Like, we couldn't get any ammo to drop.
Yeah, so I ran out of machine gun ammo like halfway through, and so I was just using rifle, which worked okay, but it's like...
But it was the reload, and if they got close...
And if they got close, it was bad, and it was pain.
And then that clutch, the clutch bit at the end, where I didn't have any ammo left in the pistol, but I saved your ass with flash grenades so that we could run away from the corner that we'd hid in the entire time.
Right, yeah, the place where we'd hold up.
I don't know how you didn't get shot by the rocket launcher guy, but I was like, I'll take it.
Because Jill Valentine is a wizard, baby!
Yeah, she was like, no, this wasn't me, I was over there the whole time.
Oh Lord, I don't know. But yes.
Yeah.
We had fun during the main campaign. I think we did 4 playthroughs effectively, almost back to back. And it was getting old by the end. But like, just the game itself was definitely fun to play in co-op. And I agree, like, I liked the progression of being able to level up your weapons, and that carries over from playthrough to playthrough, and...
Oh, and that was also another problem, is that none of that carried over to the DLCs.
Correct. And you couldn't unlock things, it was all just random drops of weapons and stuff each time, and so you were using base level stuff, and you weren't even guaranteed, like, which things you might get.
We just had no healing items either, because they just wouldn't drop.
And so it was definitely much harder than the main campaign.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like the campaign itself, also, it wasn't very scary, right? Like you said, it was very action horror, and I think that's something that a lot of people did not like about it, because it didn't have any puzzles, it didn't really have any sections where there was that, like, build-up of tension.
Well, I mean, the puzzles it did have were very rudimentary at best.
It's like, you pull this lever while I pull
turn on a
that
fire
lever.
room and kill this person.
Yeah.
That's like the depth of puzzles.
Right, there was... I mean, Resident Evil 4 didn't have very many puzzles in it, and what there was not very deep either, but it did have more than 5 did, and so it was kind of like they took what they had done for 4, and I think they focused more on making it a co-op game than they did keeping to that Resident Evil traditional formula, right? And so I think that's why maybe people did not like the leap there from the, like, more traditional, like, horror, tension, survival, whatever, to something that was more action oriented.
And I would also say, like, it's very much geared to be played in co-op, and so the AI for Sheva without a co-op partner isn't great, because she'll just use all your healing items.
Right, yes, you can't give them anything.
Here you go. I had a millimeter. Why? I was missing a millimeter of health.
Why have you used this? Yeah, you have to... Basically, they're your ammunition mule, so you let them hold all of your extra ammo. But, don't give them weapons. Except for, a pistol. And don't give them any of your healing items, because they will use them. Yeah. They're trying to be helpful. They just didn't code it very well.
No, they didn't.
And poor Sheva gets a bad rap because of that, right? But actually, she's a really cool character.
She is. So that wraps up. I can't speak English now. I don't know what RUP is.
Yep.
That wraps up October.
Yes. We did a lot. We did a lot of spooky stuff and otherwise in October. How about November?
Yeah. So I joined the True Trophies bit genre bingo in November. So basically you choose a bunch of genres. They give you like a bingo card, and you've got to try and get like a line of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But the center block is free. So if you can get like a diagonal or a horizontal vertical going through that, you only have to get 4. And so I think I ended up needing like adventure, open world, Metroidvania, and stealth, I think. I can maybe check.
Yeah, it should let you
Please
go
hold.
back.
Open world, action adventure, third person shooter, and adventure was my first bingo. I ended up doing 2. And so I started a few games. The adventure game was Arise: A Simple Story, which I've played on Xbox before, and it's relatively short, and so that was a nice one to replay. And it's little like adventure platforming. It's very atmospheric. It like tells the story of an old man's life. He's passed on to the afterlife, and it kind of feels like a little bit like purgatory-ish, where he's like reliving parts in his life through his memory. And so he like gets to sections, and it fills in him as a younger person as to like what happened in these locations, right?
Okay.
Because you've played it too.
Yeah.
Arise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice story. I thought it was very touching.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I played it last Christmas.
Oh, that's interesting. Like we were about a month apart.
Yep.
A year and a month apart. Played it at a similar time. The only challenging part was some of the challenges.
Not getting hit.
But I found a little workaround for that. That did screw me over at one point.
Oh no.
But so I kept deleting the collectible tracking save and uploading it to the cloud, deleting it on the console, reloading the last checkpoint of the chapter, and the game didn't count me as getting hit, and I just finished the level.
Nice.
And then I just take my save back down. But it must have glitched on one of the collectibles, because the game didn't count it as being collected, but it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And so I kind of messed myself up a little bit by doing that.
Yeah.
And so I had to restart the game from level 4 and replay that. But it meant that I got through the stupid grabby hands people.
Yes. You did a cheeky.
I did. And I was surprised it worked. I also used Square One Games guide for that one. It is very good.
Yes.
It will get you through if you're not cheeky like me.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, if you like platforming adventure games that are cute, then play that.
Indeed.
I would recommend.
Yes. My first one for November was Somerville, which is, gosh, what do you even call this? An adventure game. Yeah, it had some little like traversal puzzles where you had to get through some.
It's almost like a point. It's a point and click adventure, kind of, isn't it?
Kind of. Yeah, so it's like,
I think it's more adventure. It feels quite similar in regard to like Arise.
Yeah. Where it's third person.
Because I've seen it played.
There's no platforming.
No.
But it's like
you are running around.
Around doing things and like trying to progress through the area, right? So trying to clear things out of the way or hide from the aliens, because I guess the idea here is that aliens crash and you get connected sort of to one of them, and you get some abilities to be able to manipulate some of their materials,
technology.
their machines, right? So you can kind of melt the matter or solidify it, and you get different powers as you play through. the game to be able to help you move through different areas. It was kind of weird. I would say on the scored scale, it was like a 3 out of 5.
I've seen it played, and I didn't find it too bad, so I have that one to play on Xbox.
Yeah, it was like maybe like a 2.
It's just a bit odd in places.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's not horrific, I don't think.
Yeah, I think I can
Right?
deal with weird that isn't creepy or horror.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely strange, and I'm not 100% certain what exactly happens, and there's several different endings that you can get based on
Yeah.
what you do at the end. But yeah, it was very strange, like and I think the idea is like you're trying to communicate with these beings.
Yeah. It's
Right.
blue, 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 not blue, blue, red. You'll understand when you get there.
Blue, red.
But it's not. It's blue, blue, blue.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
It was a strange sort of a little thing, but it was good enough, and I had wanted to play it, and as is the theme, it was going off of Games Pass, and so I played it.
Yeah. Your running theme is it's going off of Games
Pass.
Pass.
Better
Mine
play
is
it.
it was short and had a platinum. That's my
Yeah.
year. Is
Yep.
it was short and had a platinum. Not
Yeah.
everything.
I
but-
mean, mine is it's going off of Game Pass, and it's short enough that I can do it in the 2 weeks that I have to be able to play it before it goes off of Games Pass.
yeah.
Right? So most of the ones that are like, it's going off of Games Pass, can I play it before it goes off, are usually short ones, because, I don't want to start a 100-hour game and only have a couple weeks to finish it.
Fair. So my next one was Assassin's Creed Liberation, which I started because it had the open world tag on it,
Mm-hmm.
and also because I wanted to play an Assassin's Creed game. For whatever reason, I was like, I'm feeling an Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
It's shorter and a bit more basic because it's a Vita original game.
Yeah.
So it's not as long, it's not as complicated. It's good.
Mhm.
It's set in New Orleans, and
Yep.
you play as Aveline.
Yep.
And so it's around the same time as Assassin's Creed 3, so
Right.
like 1770s.
Yeah. It had a little crossover with Assassin's Creed.
It
3.
did. It did. On the like remaster one.
Yeah. Oh, was not that
I don't
not
know-
in it originally?
I don't know if it had that in there originally or whether that was like a bonus downloadable thing. But yeah, the like it's interesting how it plays out because it tells one story and then if you kill a certain person a number of times, it fills in the true story. So
Huh.
it's like it's fake
Right.
in certain sections, and then when you get more information, it actually plays the true memory of what happened. And so
Nice.
that was an interesting way of doing it differently than the other Assassin's Creeds do.
Right.
Um,
Because is it kind of like I've played it before, obviously, but I don't remember 100%. Is it like Abstergo is like hiding,
Yeah,
obscuring the truth of what
so-
happens?
It's almost like this person's playing through it, as if it's like you're watching Aveline as she like becomes is an assassin, and then it's like, and then she becomes a Templar, and it's like trying to posit that was positive, and that's how it happened,
Right.
and it's not,
Right.
and it's like not making out like the Templars are the good guys and doing it for benevolent reasons when it's like the Templars are doing it for money and power, like
Right.
everyone else.
Like they always are.
Yeah. And so it's basically like someone hacked the Animus and put an extra person in that's carrying the data that you need to fill in the information, but you need to find out where those people are.
Yeah.
And some of them are in certain memories, some of them are like scattered around the map in different places.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought that was like an interesting take on like synchronization and some of the other like hidden things that they've put in, like the glyphs in Assassin's Creed 2, where it like gives you a little snippet of
Yeah.
something that happened in the past. The thing I didn't like about it, the grind for money to buy pocket watches that literally were nothing other than a collectible.
Yeah.
It was like, great, there's enough collectibles in this already. Why do I need more?
And also
that's
things that you're
Ubisoft
not
games.
just collecting, things that you have to collect money to then collect.
Yes. It's like double collectibles.
Oh, man.
And doing the like one mission as Aveline and then doing the same mission again as Connor, it was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to play that twice. It's no different.
Right.
Really. You just do a couple of slightly different things, but you're still with the same person.
Yeah.
I was just like, I remember that the first time, that being why I didn't get 100%. I was like, wait, I've got it. What happened? Why didn't I get 100%? And so I looked through the DNA, and it was like, you haven't done this mission. I was like, what mission? Wait, I've got to do that mission again with a different person? Okay.
What are you talking about, game?
Exactly. But no, decent Assassin's Creed game if you like Assassin's Creed games. It's more of the older style, so like 3 Black Flag, that era.
Yeah.
And so would recommend if you want one that's of that style and also shorter.
Right. Yep. Very cool. My next one was my 99th platinum. Dun, dun, dun. And it was Mass Effect 1 from Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. Woohoo! I don't know how much there is to say. I love Mass Effect.
It was better.
It was.
The trophies were easier
than
the original.
Were easier than the original one. Yeah, you didn't have to play through it a bunch of times to get all of the ally achievements.
Nope.
And they separated out the like insanity trophies from the main games and put them in their own like bonus Legendary Edition trophies thing. And so, you can just kind of play through it once and get the plat. Which made it, much shorter and whatever. Which is fine because I've played through that game lots of times because it's one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the Mass Effect series, and
it still has the best story.
Yeah, it does. It has the best story, main plot from start to finish of any of the three of them. And it sets up the world really well. It's something where it feels like it obviously borrows a lot of things from other sci-fi works, but it feels enough like its own thing to not feel super derivative,
It's very similar in layout to Knights of the Old Republic, where it's you need to find information on these set number of planets to advance the plot.
Yeah.
And so it feels very, very BioWare in that regard.
Yes.
But it has a lot more like side things. So like, Knights of the Old Republic was made in the original Xbox era, so the size of the game was smaller, so you have the main planets and that was it.
Right.
But Mass Effect, because it's 360, they could put more in.
Yep.
And so there's a lot more side missions, a lot more planets to explore.
Yep.
Which was good. Like, that was like a step up for me.
Yes. And, it's the typical, like, BioWare, you have good characters, just very interesting characters and dialogue with them. And the whole Paragon Renegade system. Again, it feels very much like it borrowed from the sort of dark side, light side stuff.
Yes.
From Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But it was sort of its own thing where it's like Renegade, for the most part, is not necessarily evil. It's just pragmatic and ruthless and not caring about collateral damage.
Yeah.
Right?
ends justify the
ends
means.
justify the means kind of a thing. Whereas Paragon is definitely like your lawful good. You're trying to save everybody and not.
Yeah, I think Paragon is lawful good or neutral good, depending.
Yeah.
Like, good for goodness' sake sometimes, where it's like altruism
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
like I'm doing this because I feel it's
Part of the law.
part of the law
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's definitely like your own moral code. I'm not going to compromise
Yes.
my morals to get the job done. Right? Like I'm going to get
I will
the
find
job.
another I will find another way.
I'll get the job done and I will maintain my integrity doing it. Right? And I think the epitome of that is that side quest that you do with Garrus, right?
Yeah.
Where you go after the person that he's been chasing, Dr. Hart, you know.
Dr. Salion.
And you find him and you have the choice to either, you know, Garrus is like, we should kill him now, like he got away before. You know, we should just get rid of him. And you have the choice to be like, yes, you're right, we should eliminate him. You know, and that's the kind of renegade perspective of the law doesn't work, I am the law.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can be like, no, you know, we're going to take him in. And then he's like, I'm not going to let you take me in. And he bites you and you kill him. And then Garrus is like, well, and so he dies anyway. What is the point of that? And I really like the line there where it's like, we can't control what other people do. The only thing that we can control is what we're going to do. You know, how other people respond to you is not, you can't help that. You can't control that. But you have to have a strong sense of your own self and your own integrity, you know? And I like that. And I feel like that is kind of the definition of Paragon and what they're going for there. Not that you are a goody two-shoes, which is what I think a lot of people like to call it, right? It's principled.
Yeah.
You know?
And that sometimes gets misconstrued.
Yes, and sometimes, you know, that can maybe be a little bit naive, or it's not always the right decision, right? The Paragon decision isn't always the quote-unquote right and best decision that you can make. It's just, it is a way to be, right? It's a mindset. It's not necessarily right or wrong. And I like that about it. So Mass Effect is great. I love it. It was really good to play through it again and get the platinum. And
it's like if you like a sci-fi space saga romp, play this game.
Yeah, exactly. If you like cool aliens and RPGs, and it is action RPG, although the first one is more traditional RPG and has more like of tactical stuff in there than the other two in the series. So if you like that more traditional TRPG style, it feels closer to that, where you have more of the crunchiness in terms of the different gear and the different, you know, armor and different weapons and the different skill trees and powers and that sort of thing. Even though it is not turn-based, right?
Yeah, but you can like slow time or stop time and do stuff. But I guess you do that in all of them.
Yeah, and it's not like it doesn't wait for you. It's definitely not turn-based where it's like
no,
you select a thing. It's not like something like Knights of the Old Republic where it's like I select an action and I have a sort of queue of actions that I'm doing.
Right. Or like Dragon Age, because I think Dragon Age you could do the like tactical.
Yeah, I think so, and it would just play it out as a more turn-based system. Yeah. So it's definitely not like that, but it is closer to that than the others. So if you like some of that more style gameplay, you probably like the first one more than the others. So Mass Effect.
So that was your 99th?
It was my 99th plat.
My next platinum was my 175th.
Woohoo! Milestone.
Which was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Woohoo!
I decided to do that one partially because I like the game, and partially because it was one of the genres I needed for bingo. Yeah, it was the action adventure one, and so yeah, I really like Jedi Fallen Order. I feel like it's a good extra like story within the Star Wars universe. That's set like between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. The gameplay's good. I like the characters, the story, the planets. Like it's a good Star Wars action adventure game if you like, you know, murdering people with lightsabers and having Jedi powers.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to playing Survivor, which I got on sale over Black Friday.
Very nice.
I will say it has too many collectibles, like so many games.
Yep. As
These
is
ones
the modern
at least
trend.
had like some use where they were ponchos you could wear or different like handles for your lightsabers and things, but it's cosmetic stuff that I don't super care about. I found a red poncho right at the start and was like, I'll wear that, and wore it the entire game.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, another poncho I'm not going to wear. And also having to 100% explore the maps, and there'd be some tiny room that you missed
Oh my gosh.
in some area that's down the bottom of a lift that you have to fight through a bunch of people to get to.
That's annoying.
Because you're on Kashyyyk, the Wookiee homeworld, so it's like loads of trees and stuff.
Yeah.
And I missed like I missed some platform in the middle of some area, and so I was on my way back, and there's some creature that if you click on it, it takes you back to the start of the area, and I thought it was going to take me to the end, and so I clicked on it, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I've got to go all the way through this, and I was close to the area where I'd missed the thing when I clicked on it. I was like, why?
Gosh, why
Why have you done
did you
this?
do this to me?
Why? I will also say, yeah, exactly. No. I still can't fathom out exactly what the platinum picture is for this game.
Someone,
It's
please,
the main character.
please tell us in
Yeah.
the comments, what is the platinum picture supposed to be for?
For Star Wars
Star Wars.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the main character, Cal, holding a lightsaber that's like kind of big but sparkly.
Yeah.
And then it looks like him. It's a silhouette, so it's black.
Yeah.
But then there's some extra bit that's down to the side, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it's supposed to be.
Is it
it
the
supposed to be a
ship?
woman in a dress? Is it a ship? Is it supposed to be your little robot friend? Like, my brain's looking at it going, probably should know what this is, but I can't figure it out. And it's driving me, it drove me slightly insane, going, what is this supposed to be? So I Googled it. No one knows. It just says,
find it.
it's Cal with a lightsaber. I'm like, thanks, Google AI. You're really helpful. Go away.
Oh boy. Well, hey, congratulations on 175 platinums. Woo!
Yeah, considering my goal was to get 50 platinums this year, and I've got 76 at that point.
Yeah.
77 total
Oof.
so far.
Craziness.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, my next one was following the trend of it was going off Games Pass, so I played Hello Neighbor 2. And this one is an interesting one. It's a game. It sure is.
It's a game
It's
thing.
It's basically Like you are a reporter, and I haven't played the first one, so I don't know if this is like carrying on from the first one in any way. But you're a reporter, and you have a suspicion that this person in your neighborhood is like abusing his son, I think. And
Oh no.
and you're trying to get to the son, who he has locked up in the attic. And
I think that just about says it all.
and in order to get there, you have to get different keys and stuff to be able to open different doors, and you have to get those from different houses, right? So you have to go through your neighbors' houses, and like each one has different like little puzzles that you have to solve to be able to open up the things to get to the area where you can get the key to then be able to open up more doors in another section.
So it's a
of the
whole
main
neighborhood
house.
conspiracy
So it's a
about
whole
locking up this
neighborhood
poor one
conspiracy
child.
about locking up this child. And yeah, so it's kind of a puzzle. It's a puzzle game, effectively, right? And if you get caught, then they throw you out of their house, and you have to go back in, and you lose a bunch of the items that you picked up, and so you would have to go pick them back up again, and whatever. So it's sort of a stealth puzzle game, is what I would say it is. And because you're sneaking around these different people's homes and trying to like solve the puzzles to get what you need. So yeah, it was an interesting kind of a thing. I liked the part with the cat where you had to give the cat like a treat, and then to be able to get what it was playing with, because then you needed that to like open something. But yeah, like it was all right. I wouldn't say that it's my favorite game of all time, but it was an okay puzzle game. So, yep,
so the last game that I played in November was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I will also say that I did another bingo, and I used Guacamelee for it. But I had played Guacamelee for the Alphabet Challenge previously, but I haven't really played it properly as of November. And so my next map was Tomb Raider, and I also started Earthlock, which is a turn-based RPG, but didn't get very far because I was using that for another genre in the bingo card. So
yeah. So things you played for a little bit. But
whereas Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I got a 100%.
Woohoo!
So I played it before on Xbox, and I feel like I enjoyed the story more this time because I actually understood what was going on and wasn't confused about who was who and what was what. So that was nice to actually go, okay, the story kind of makes more sense now, in regards to like Trinity members and things that were happening. I will say it's the weakest for me out of the 3 Survivor games. Like my favorite is still Rise. The first one's really good, and then this one was too short. Like the main story was too short. There was a lot of side stuff to do, a lot of collectibles to get. But when I did my my hard difficulty run for like the plat, it was I think I did the thing in like 8 hours or something, like the whole game just blasted through. I was like, wow, that is as short as I remember it being. But it's like it's more of the same Tomb Raider. So if you like the other 2, then I would recommend playing it. Like you have your skill tree, you have your bow, you have your different weapons, you skin animals and make things. You get gear as you progress through that opens up things that you had in previous areas. You go back to, there's a bunch of money and vendors and stuff in this one, so you can buy things like weapons and upgrades. And there's also a bunch of DLC. The DLC they're all challenge tombs, and it just feels like more of the same every time. do the speed run and get a bronze, do the score and get a bronze, do the quest for the tomb in the main story to get the skill, and then acquire the. I think it's you do the quest and it gives you the weapon and armor. So there's an outfit and a weapon in each DLC. There's a skill that you get from doing the tomb and reading the stele, I think they call it. It's like a little plaque. And then you have to have the skill and wear the 2 like upgraded versions of the item to unlock a trophy. And it's the same for every single one. You do that.
Yeah.
Do quest, do tomb, put clothes on, and then take clothes off, put original outfit back on.
Oh no.
What? Get up.
Get up.
Get up. Go to. No. It's get up.
Do the
No,
tomb. Put clothes on. Wait. So I think that should have been an earlier step. Putting clothes on should have been an earlier
get up,
step.
go talk to someone, do tomb, put clothes on. So it's even worse because you've talked to somebody without any clothes on.
Right. Yes.
No,
Yes.
what I
then
was
you only
meaning
put your
was
clothes on at
put the
end.
new set of clothes
Oh
on.
boy.
Like switch out the clothes you are wearing
Yes.
for new clothes, and then switch them back out because the new one wasn't the one that you were wearing in the first place every single time until you finish the entire all
Yep.
of the tombs, and then you get the super good outfit that you can use for New Game Plus to do your hard mode because it gives you like damage resistance to everything.
Yes. No, that
Yeah.
outfit's really
It's like
great.
the Shawn one, something like that. That's what it's called. It's the Shawn something, but
Something
it's
like
like
that,
the
yeah.
best outfit for like damage resistance.
Yep.
Yeah, like I like the game. I will say that hard mode, I died so many times to traversal and died to combat like 5 because the precision of the controls on it are not the best, especially for a mode where you can only save at bonfires, and they took out some of the bonfires.
Yes. And they also take off the mode the like
Yeah.
awareness thing that you can click and kind of see what things are climbable.
But you can
and
also
whatever,
just
right?
like use the perception herb thing and just make sure you have enough of those, and it will highlight stuff anyway. So I did that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
you have the endurance one, the perception one, and the slow time one. So if you put the perception one on, it puts bushes and enemy bodies and healing items and stuff that you can pick up.
Does it also highlight like climbable walls and climbable
It might
areas
not.
and
I'm not
things?
sure because I don't remember if I used it in any of the areas with the climbable walls, but they felt fairly obvious to me.
That's so
Except in that damn
yeah,
eagle section.
No, I forgot that.
It's funny.
I
it's funny,
didn't realize that. And
like,
you know,
when you and I do stuff,
sometimes
and then we
things on
go,
hard mode.
wait, you could do what? How did I not know this?
Woo!
Mind has been blown.
Yep. When you accidentally do hard mode by not upgrading any of your
When you play the
things.
entirety of Hogwarts Legacy and don't put any upgrades on your equipment because you think you're going to get to the highest level and then upgrade your equipment, and you realize you could have been upgrading your equipment the entire
Then
time
you don't.
because you can't get to the highest level until you
Yep.
finish the entire story, because that's how they did the XP. And so it's pointless waiting to level 40 because you finished the game and got the platinum before you even put any upgrades in any of your equipment. Great. So you're just using the base version of like the leveled equipment you get. So I had level 39
You
equipment.
just wanted
it was
to
just-
do a
I
challenge
mean, it wasn't
run.
exactly difficult, to be honest, but it just
I
made
know.
it slightly.
Yes, I know, but it makes it longer
Yep.
and more annoying, right?
Don't worry, when I play when
Yeah.
when I get the 100%
Anyway.
for Hogwarts Legacy on the Xbox One, I will have learnt from all the mistakes I made the first 2 times.
Yes. Oh goodness. So yeah, so you
I
finished
did.
Shadow.
I have the goal of getting 180 to 180 total plats by December, so that means I need 4 in December, which is very doable.
Yeah.
For me.
Very, very doable. Yeah.
That was my last
game.
game.
That was your last one for November. Very cool. My last one for November was yet another game that was leaving Games Pass called Spirit of the North. And so this one is about a little fox. And he's a little fox spirit. And
I was waiting for that. He
like
controls like a fridge line. I'm imagining the character is just a fridge with a fox skin on it. You know, like it's like you got like a cute fox face and a little tail and stuff on the back. It's the fox fridge.
He is very cute,
but he's also a fridge.
Little foxy. They're a little foxy, but you know, luckily most of it does not require much precision in terms of jumping around and platforming and whatnot. There are a couple of sections where it's like, Foxy, I need you to jump up here. No, Foxy, not that way. Foxy, we only have a certain amount of time to get to this place before the thing shuts.
That's how Foxy. I felt with Lara sometimes playing Tomb Raider. Lara, why did you jump that way? Lara, what? Okay. Now I've got to spend another 3 minutes getting back to that point just for you to fail again because you can't grab a ledge to save your life.
Dang it. Yep. So, Foxy had some difficulty with the controls. A little bit, but it wasn't anything that was horrific because for the most part it didn't require much precision with anything, so it was okay. Definitely another one of those that it feels like it's an indie game. It feels like it's got that lack of polish you know, that games that have bigger budgets do, but it was very pretty. It was cute. You're a fox. You're going through these areas and kind of like you learn the story of what's happened here based on these little like murals that you find, where it's like there were people and they worshipped the fox spirits, and then something happened. There was like a cataclysm,
and then they started worshipping fridges instead.
They all got fat and died. No, so you're trying to sort of heal the spirits and heal the land and such. And at the end, you make the like Aurora Borealis go. Foxy running through the sky.
But there's no fridge imagery in the game. It's just the controls.
No, there's no fridge imagery in the game. That's only the controls. So yeah, it was nice and short and simple, and yeah, it was a little fox game. Yep. So that was my November. Except speaking of games that we didn't finish, that we played, I was like, I didn't play a whole lot in November. I played Dragon Age Veilguard,
which you'll talk about
in November, which I'll talk about maybe in December. We'll see if I manage to finish it. So a couple of my trophies glitched and didn't pop, and so I had to, and hopefully this will fix it. I deleted my saves and am just starting over, which I don't really mind. I'm playing a different class. I really enjoyed the game.
Would play again.
And
oh wait, you
so are. I'm gonna be able. I'm playing again, and so I played that for the first couple of weeks of November because it came out October 31st, and it's the first game that I've bought day one in a very long time.
I bought it day one and haven't played it yet.
So. Yeah, well, you're focusing on
that is my plan for January, is that will be my first plat of 2025.
Yeah. Nice. And so, I got it on the 31st, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this. I want to play this because I
want
wanted
it.
to.
Okay?
And so I did. Because I wanted to, and so I did do it, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I beat it. I beat the game. I finished the story and all the side stuff and everything. I just had, and I would have the platinum at this point. I just those trophies glitched. So.
But you want to talk about it once you have the platinum, so that's understandable.
Yes, I will talk about it once I have the plat and have finished it and can say more about it overall. I mean, I could talk about it overall now because I feel like I could, but I'll wait until I finish it because that's how we do things. Is we like to talk about them once we are finished with the trophies and achievements. Right. So that will be either in December or January, depending on when I finish it, because I have some goals of other things that I need to be getting on with before the end of the year if I'm gonna.
Yep. So next month will be December and our year wrap up. So it'll be December wrap up, year wrap up, counseling, burnout support. Tears of joy,
melted.
Tears of sadness.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nah, it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see, like, how many of our goals we actually met and what our goals will be for 2025.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing how we do with everything. I mean, I think you will have met. You had almost already met all of your goals before
I just had the
3,000
trophies and my 180 total plats.
Yeah. And so you were pretty close to those.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so you're working on.
I also decided to do another TT
now, as of recording.
challenge, which we will definitely talk about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk about
December.
Woo! So many months.
So much gaming, so much brain melt.
So much gaming, so much melting. All right, well, that was our October and November. Let us know how you guys are doing and what you were playing as we're coming into this final month of the year. Well, yeah, we're halfway through it.
Already, as of recording this, it's the 15th.
Let us know how you're doing. Oh my gosh, yes. We'll try to get this out before the end of the year at least. And so yeah, let us know how you're doing, how your year's been, how your gaming's doing. How are you? Has your brain melted?
Have you played any games that control like a fridge?
Take care of yourselves. Have you played other games?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you have, because there are many games where you feel like you are controlling the refrigerator and steering.
And also,
around.
Things that seem to jump about as far or as fast as a fridge.
Yep. I mean, that's how you felt when you were playing.
No,
Resident
I had the
Evil.
turning circle of a fridge that had no wheels that you had to physically pick up and turn.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, take care of yourselves out there.
Have a happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and we will see you for our yearly wrap up, hopefully in early January.
Yes. January.
The brain melts is real.
Ooh. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.